Redux matchup is in pursuit of the Jägermeister Cup. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN Plus. Once again, it's the Riverhounds and Rhode Island FC doing battle. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Ross Davenport. It's the second game in the Jägermeister Cup for these two sides in Group 4 of this competition. Hartford Athletic picking up all 3 points in a comeback affair earlier today against Westchester. Meanwhile, shout out Portland Hearts of Pine. An explosive win for the League One side over Detroit City FC, which means the group here still up in the balance for either Rhode Island or the Riverhounds to get back into and fight for that first place spot. First place, of course, advancing on to the next round. Second place may be able to get into the knockout round of the Jägermeister Cup. These two teams played last Modelo. Meanwhile, Rhode Island off to a good start in the Jägermeister Cup in their first match against the USL League One side Westchester. They're able to get all 3 points.
Yeah, Westchester with another heartbreaking loss, this time to Hartford tonight. This was a 4-1 win for Rhode Island, putting them in first place at the time. 3 goals in 40 minutes. Rhode Island really dominated the first half. 11 shots, 6 of them on target. JJ Williams brace. No him tonight. There were also goals by Frank Nadarce off a corner. Maxi Rodriguez, who took the corner for that Nadarce header. They had 7 big chances in that game, and that's only 2 fewer than the most combined big chances in the USL Championship game this season.
JJ Williams with the brace in that one. He was the joint leading goal scorer last year for Rhode Island, paired up with this guy, Albert Diqua. Boy, is he familiar with this venue.
That he is, the former Pittsburgh man. He took a while to get going in his 4 years with the Riverhounds, scoring-wise, but he scored 30-plus goals over his final 2 seasons with them, earning what was surely a lucrative move to Rhode Island. Reached double digits last season in his first campaign in New England. He's only found pay dirt once, though, in 9 appearances this season, held to just 1 shot in last week's meetings between these two sides.
So, Albert Diqua, maybe he'll try to get his scoring going here in Pittsburgh. No secrets tonight in the Steel City, so it's all about who is sharper for 90 minutes. Will it be Rhode Island or Pittsburgh? We'll open the tab after this on ESPN Plus.
Ain't no better feeling than a cold one in my hand. Well, that's why I'll be keeping Iron City in my plans. Oh, everywhere I roam, I'll be thinking about my home. Sitting pouring on the iron right before I go to rest. And when I'm laying in my bed, there's only one thing in my head. Just an ice cold can of Pittsburgh PA's best.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that is not true. With over 11 years of experience, they're the experts in the industry and have successfully treated over 13,000 patients. Tri-State's team of chiropractic physicians utilize the most powerful technology available to help treat your neuropathy.
We've helped thousands of patients get their lives back. Let us help you next. Call us today for a free consultation.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Starting lineups brewed for Highmark Stadium, home of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It'll be Rhode Island in their Rhode Amber kits, while it's the classic black and yellow stripes for the Riverhounds.
Two pretty strong lineups put out by these squads for this cup match. The coaches said to us this week that just looking at it as just another match, whether it's the cup or the league, a chance to get some momentum going in what's been a bit of an up and down season for both of these squads so far.
John Motto, our head official, in the green pro referee uniform. And for the second Saturday in a row, it's Rhode Island and the Riverhounds doing battle, but this time in the Jägermeister. Nil victory on the road after a congested schedule for the Riverhounds.
Bob Lilly did say he didn't show all his cards last week. Interesting to see what that means as this game goes on. He said this is a cup game at home, important for our consistency. They want to do the things they did in Rhode Island just better. Obviously came away with the 1-0 win. We mentioned in the open, stats were very close there. Rhode Island could perhaps feel a little hard done by. 0-0 would have perhaps been a fair scoreline in that one. The goal found its way through for Danny Griffin. That was the difference.
Sometimes you just got to take a chance, and when you do, it's going to bounce your way every now and then.
Obviously, Pittsburgh losing the opening game in the Jägermeister Cup with this format, Mark, losing 2 games in divisional play could likely mean the end of your participation. Obviously, you still got to play 2 more games, but you have to win the group to get through. When you got 6 teams finishing 2-2 as best as you can do, is unlikely to get you that first spot, and it's certainly unlikely to get you a wild card. Unless things fall your way, we'll see.
Yeah, 4 matches in the group stage. Group 4 has 6 teams. Augie Williams gets hit in the back of the head. It's an early free kick for the Hounds.
Coming straight through, Augie Williams looking to get his offensive game going with his new club here.
Over 70 goals in the USL Championship, but just 1 for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Here's a look on the replay, brought to you by Narcissi.
It wasn't terrible from Grant Stoneman. So we'll get a bit of head-to-head contact. Just a little clumsy from Stoneman, the former USL League One man. Lansing Ignite, always good to shout out original Lansing Ignite players still playing in the USL.
Robbie Burns, longtime man for the Riverhounds, will take this one. With the sun in the eyes of Jackson Lee, Mertz bends it in. No one could reach it.
Some Pittsburgh players claiming it hit a Rhode Island player on the way through. Great pace on this delivery for Mertz, almost too much pace. Claiming Max Rodriguez perhaps got a touch on it with his noggin.
Very close for Pittsburgh. We'll be looking to keep brewing here. Barnes rolls it forward. Let's find out how these two teams can build a win today, brought to you by 84 Lumber.
Yeah, Pittsburgh have obviously struggled to score goals, but in the last meeting last weekend, they had a ton of more shots than they normally do. We talked to Bob Lilly about it. He said it was encouraging. He wants to see more of it. Have a go from the outside. As for Rhode Island, we mentioned 3 games against this Riverhounds club. No goals so far. They've just got to figure out how to break down this obviously very stubborn Bob Lilly back line. Back 3, back 5 at times, obviously, when they're out of possession. Not many people have managed to solve that puzzle, Mark, this season.
A tough team to break down, that's for certain. Perhaps something promising here, though. Quizera rolls this in centrally. Cleared out for a corner.
Timely interception there. Bright start for both sides here in these first 4 minutes. Attacking intent.
So Amos, Shapiro, Thompson, one of the new faces in the starting lineup for this game. Will take the corner. And it's caught by Jacob Randolph. Both goalkeepers getting the opportunities here in these Jägermeister Cup games. Jackson Lee and Jacob Randolph. Randolph 24 years old, Lee 23, so young professionals.
Yeah, taken down there by Decro, who's going to have a word from John Matto about that. Just a little clumsy, nothing reckless.
Let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by AHN, the official Medicare medical provider, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. A lot of names for Rhode Island right now. And then Edrach, whom, although isn't hurt, is gone on interlude duty, so.
Not in the 18. It's a big addition this season for Cano Smith, but not featuring this evening. Ooh, another high boot there. John Matto's whistle's been busy early so far.
And it's going to be sounded again. And we've got a booking. A yellow card issued in a game that's got a lot of yellow influence as far as the jerseys are concerned.
That was an interesting one because it's been a topic of discussion about players stopping the quick restart, which Max Rodriguez may have done there. Let's take a look at it here. Yeah, you can see him moving now. If you're just standing there and they decide to go quickly and kick it off you, that's fair game, but referees have been told to crack down on this kind of thing. Max Rodriguez finding himself in the book early.
No bookings in that first Jägermeister Cup game for Rhode Island against Westchester. Get a booking before even 7 minutes have transpired here.
Max here just stood his ground. Hadn't been asked to go back 10 by referee John Matty. He'd been fine, but he was moving around clearly, stopping the quick retake. And that's a silly yellow card early for Maxi, who obviously likes to get stuck in the middle of the park. See if that comes back to haunt him later.
Bob really happy with how the Riverhounds performed in that game against Rhode Island, given the circumstances. Third game in a short window, plus you add in a lot of travel on top of it. Felt they competed well, pressed when they needed to. And were able to hang on despite looking a little worn in the second half due to those reasons, the travel, the games that they've had as of late.
Yeah, that made those 3 points extra special, coming off that busy week.
Also their first win on the road this season.
You can see Pittsburgh pressing this 3-4-3. We'll drop back to 5 in the back when the ball does get towards that final third. In possession, they do have their wing backs, but they'll often play 4 at the back in possession, especially the side forward. Here we see Junior Reto getting up there.
Collision with Rodriguez. Rhode Island will get possession, which they had a lot of last week. Connor Smith mentioning that they enjoyed a lot of possession, but perhaps Pittsburgh were okay with that given the circumstances. Felt they defended well in that matchup though, Rhode Island, and they didn't create enough goal dangerous shots in the game. Just a bunch of half chances.
Island players upset there. And referee John Madden. Yeah, Pittsburgh did play Tulsa in back-to-back games last May. One of those was a midweek game. These obviously weekend games, so not as much need for change.
Wind-up effort will ricochet along the turf and ultimately not be too dangerous. Jacob Randolph from New Orleans. You mentioned it, Ross, this Pittsburgh team just looking to build some consistency. Bob Lilly felt they obviously played well against New York City and got the Open Cup victory in that game. And you get a draw on the road against Louisville, and Louisville's been such a tough team to get any points off of this season. Dequa fishing for a handball there. Didn't like the performance against Colorado Springs, though. Then you lose by a wide margin against Philadelphia, even though he wasn't too disappointed in that performance. So 4 of the last 5 games, they've been more of a complete team. They've been hitting more of those measuring sticks that they're looking for. But now it's about finding those extra bits of improvements, particularly on the offensive end of the ball. And having that win against Rhode Island on the road can really help in build that confidence to find that offensive competency.
Yeah, the second fewest shots in the USL Championship at the moment. Obviously, this is not a championship game, but 79. Only Hartford has less with 76. A goal against Rhode Island. Just one in the last, only goal in the last 4 USL Championship games. It took them a while to get going last year. Got into the playoffs thanks to a good late run. The same story as Rhode Island as well. Obviously, last year were a brand new team. Started off with so many draws and ended up in the championship game.
It's a long season, and especially in the American soccer format, you can afford to have slow starts because you just need to get into the dance.
As mentioned earlier, both these coaches coming into this game not caring about the format, just looking, just another game, another chance to pick up a win, no matter the format. Mentioned how big it would be for Pittsburgh. 2 losses basically done in this format.
Rhode Island looking to match Hartford Athletic with 6 points in Group 4 of the Jägermeister Cup. 4-1 victory against Westchester. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh a loss against Detroit in their first Jägermeister Cup match. Darce, Rodriguez, and then a brace from J.J. Williams, who's not available for the game today in that one against Westchester. That'll be the nice thing for Rhode Island. You knock out both of your road games in this competition, and then your last 2 will be back in front of the home confines.
If I have it right, Pittsburgh do finish with games against both League One clubs in this division. Obviously, if you have those 2 losses under your belt, it's going to be tough to come back from that in this 6-team division.
Yeah, Westchester and Portland.
Portland, big win today against Detroit City. Getting things going a little bit up there.
Lobbed ball over the top, looking for Williams. And it's headed out for a deep throw-in. Group 4, though, looking like it could be a pretty interesting group in the Jägermeister Cup. Hartford Athletic, who have struggled to find results in league play with 2 wins, including a comeback effort today.
Well, unfortunately, I remember the wild card last year in the Jägermeister Cup, when it was League One only, was most goals scored. So basically anybody still had a chance going into those last 2 games, even if you lost 6-5. It's not the case this year.
Searching ball, falls for Williams, but it takes a bounce, and Jackson Lee handles it.
That was a lovely searching ball for Williams. Just first touch let him down.
Jackson Lee, the Australian goalkeeper, his 2nd year with Rhode Island after playing collegiate ball at West Virginia University, not too far from here.
Williams with just the 1 goal USL Championship play so far, and that one came in the opener against North Carolina.
Lovely combination there. Halstead moving forward. Clay Halstead tried to chip it to Dequa.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. Halstead, he almost got caught in two minds. Bob Lilly with some remarks for his backline after this. He cut back inside and it looked like he was either trying to curl it into that far post or find Dequa, as you mentioned, Mark. In the end, he didn't do either. Still forced to dive out of Jacob Randolph, though.
That looked like it went off an arm of Rodriguez, and it did. John Motto keen to what took place there. There's Cano Smith. His second year in charge of Rhode Island. Last year, of course, being the inaugural season for the club. Made it all the way to the USL Championship final.
Not a bad way to start your USL Championship head coaching career.
Yeah, no kidding. Of course, up against the legendary Bob Lilly, who has won over 200 USL matches.
He has, but his teams have struggled in the knockout stages of the USL Championship. You see 0-1 here in group stages of this cup competition. Might not have a chance to get to the knockout stage of this.
Yeah, I've had some success in a different knockout competition, though, the US Open Cup, including this year being
Great run.
The last remaining second division side. So, of course, you get a nice little bonus for that.
Yeah, certainly USL Championship teams as well as coaches take the US Open Cup a little more seriously than others. Bob Lilly, one certainly puts every effort into it.
Mertz taking Mertz.
To come, didn't dive in. Mertz was trying to shake him with a little shimmy, but Stoneman wasn't buying it. So Luke Biasi playing the back line tonight.
Barnes will run this forward. Perrin Barnes in the right channel. Lovely looking ball off the right post. Somehow it doesn't go in.
Robbie Mertz again. Really should have put that one away from as far away as he was with the quality of that ball.
That deflection nearly went parallel with the goal line. The woodwork denying the Riverhounds. And some pressure on the back of Nadarse. I mean, a foul against Augie Williams. Real clear-cut chance for Pittsburgh. So free kick will be awarded to the home side. Here is that last chance on the Narcissi Winery replay.
Perrin Barnes streaking down this right side. He looked up, he had two guys to go through to make this ball. What a ball it was. Nobody within a couple of yards of Mertz. It seemed like it was on a platter for him. He just couldn't direct it on target. Jackson Lee was well beaten. Had no chance to stop that. Just gets help from his left-hand post. Been a bright start for both sides here. Good scoring chances.
Be shoved up the pitch. As Rhode Island attempt to build something going forward. They'll get the ball again here after the whistle. Even if these two teams played each other last week, Bob Lilly saying it is, we'll hold that thought. Dequa with the back heel in a rolling finish for Rhode Island. They've finally scored against Pittsburgh, and it's Jojea Quizera. Quizera with his first goal in the 2025 season.
Rhode Island goal.
Yeah, it was a bit clumsy, the clearance in the end. Pittsburgh made a bit of a mess of it in their own 18-yard box, not something they normally do. It was a good close down, though, by Maxi Rodriguez that led to the little back heel touch and a quality finish by Quizera. Didn't have much to do in the end, but had to make sure, make good contact, get it past Jacob Randolph. Hitting the post down the other end, right back down this end, and a lead for Rhode Island here on the road.
The beautiful game is one that can be decided by cruel margins, Ross. That's on display here. A glance on the woodwork, and then a deflected clearance that falls back into the danger area for Rhode Island. And suddenly, it's 1-0 for the visitors. Quizera, his second year at the club, had 3 goals, 6 assists last year. Much like the rest of this side, has struggled to find offensive production in 2025. This is his first goal in any of the competitions.
It was a lovely bit of creativity by Albert Dikwa. Just to see Quizera out the corner of his eye, knew he had to backheel it to get it to him. That was what really opened things up for the man from Rwanda. He actually missed the next game on international duty with them. Home game against Miami next Saturday in the league. 4 of the next 5 in the USL Championship play at home for Rhode Island. A chance for them to certainly pick up some points.
The Darce tripped up in the penalty area. Alki Williams will once again be called for a foul. 2025 Riverhounds season tickets are now on sale. Don't miss your chance to be a part of all the action all season long. Tickets are selling fast, so visit riverhounds.com/tickets for more information. You could be one of these lovely people in the stands.
Good crowd tonight, whether in the mid-50s. Talking about Lily about the size of this Rhode Island team, but Frank Nadase there, a big man, just long arms, long legs, hard to get around for Augie Williams. No, I'm Mabika next to him today, though.
Execution going to be important in this game. That's what Bob Lilly said about this match. And now we have 2 critical moments in this game that really exemplify that. Robbie Mertz with a great look on goal, hits it off the woodwork. And then Dikwa combining with Quizera, taking advantage of their chance.
Sometimes when you're struggling to score against an opponent or anybody, it's just a case of getting the ball into the danger area and hope somebody makes a mistake, which is what happened there. The clearance wasn't an effective one. It was closed down nicely by Maxi Rodriguez. Rhode Island took full advantage. We'll see if they could use the momentum here. Try and double their lead. Ball a little too hopeful there.
As far as Cano Smith is concerned, the tweaks he was looking for in this rematch, one thing he wanted to see was that they create better runs, slip behind that back line. Let's see the attempt is being made there to do something along that construct, and felt that shots needed to be in more dangerous areas. Well, they have gotten one of those and they put it away. But he was quick to give credit to Pittsburgh. He mentioned they're always such a tough team to break down, one of the best defensive teams in the league. There's some frustrations offensively for Cano Smith. He said earlier in the year, we were not finishing the chances we were creating, but recently we've been struggling to even create those moments. Sometimes all it takes is just one goal, Ross, and then you get into a groove.
We are celebrating Cinco de Mayo all May long with our chicken chorizo nachos at Nacho Junction on the west end of the stadium. Or try the Cinco de Mayo burger featuring pepper jack
Chicken chorizo
cheese,
nachos, Ross.
Chipotle
That sounds
mayo, and
delicious.
jalapeno
Don't
at the
tempt me.
Train Grill on the east end of the stadium.
Just another reason to get out to Highmark Stadium and see a game.
I'm a big foodie. I will. First thing I look at the stadium is what they have food on the food offerings. Some certainly a lot better than others.
Do you follow that Footy Scran account?
I do. Some of the stuff is rather disturbing.
Yeah.
But some of it is very good as well. Especially the pricing, especially disturbing in certain spots.
I'm not a big fan of beans, Ross, and whenever I see stuff from over in England, I recoil a little bit, especially with the way some of those bean dishes look.
It's from sitting in a small room with another commentator too much for him, that's why.
Home side looking to muster some sort of response after conceding in the 19th minute to Jojea Quizera. Man from West Jordan, Utah. Barnes rolls this one ahead. Griffin got crunched there by several different defenders.
It was a nice ball, but Griffin had no time whatsoever. No Darce and Shapiro Thompson combining to close down that opportunity very quickly. That's what they can do in this 4-2-3-1.
Jackson Lee is not getting that one right. So an opportunity in the attacking third for the Riverhounds.
Hearing it as he should from the Pittsburgh fans behind him.
So it's going to be a Cohen Markets corner kick. Our first corner kick of the evening for the Riverhounds, at least. Rhode Island getting one earlier in the match. Mertz took that early free kick, and he'll take this one from the right corner flag. Whistle blows this one dead in its tracks.
Bobby Mato gonna have to have a chat with some people in the 6-yard box and not getting along.
Right in front of the Steel Army. Pittsburgh load up in the penalty area. Low driven ball, deflects out, and we'll get another corner kick.
I'm not sure if that was a poor delivery or just a training ground move. Anyway, Aguadika's feeling the pain.
Another Cohen Markets corner kick. Robbie Mertz. Have another go at this one. That first service a bit low.
They've been looking for the front post flick. See if they try something else here.
Had more air under that one. Bounces up top. Wind up effort. Doesn't get very far. Falling similarly to how the goal they scored last week occurred.
Yeah, Junior Eto didn't have as much time there. They perhaps should have just tried cracking it first time. Once he took that first touch, I think the opportunity to get something on goal was over. Going to look careful.
Biasi lunging to head that one to his goalkeeper, Jacob Randolph. Biasi sliding into that spot for Beto Idrach, who has gone with the Puerto Rican national team for World Cup qualifiers. But before they go play qualifiers, funny enough, tomorrow they're playing in a friendly back at Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So it's funny how these things occur, but then they'll play Suriname and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That last match being on June 10th. But Idrach's been a great piece to this Riverhounds team this season. Bob Lilly saying he's played well in the back. He's an organizer. He plays the ball out nicely. Been great for a first-year guy. So it's always a positive and a negative when you get players called up to their national teams, because usually that means you're doing well for your club, and now suddenly you're not available for selection for your club.
No, that's why as a manager, you got to make sure you have the depth to cover such things. Obviously, some teams have to deal with a little more than others.
Yeah, it's obviously a moment of pride for the franchise, but your hands get tied a little bit. Walty combining with Danny Griffin there. Those two operating in the middle of the pitch for the Riverhounds.
I thought Walty had a chance to turn that turnover into a transition opportunity, went backwards instead. Allowing Rhode Island to regain their shape a little bit. This game has closed down a touch over the last 10 or 15 minutes. Not as much wide open end-to-end stuff. The team's trying the direct balls. A nice one there.
Barnes. Struggling over there on the left-hand side, excuse me, on the right-hand side with the left back, Aldair Sanchez. Earns a corner kick out of it. Always talking strategy, Bob Lilly.
Need to work on my lip reading skills, Mark. All the hand gestures, you can see when he was talking about moving players around, I think. Pulling them out of position.
Cohen Markets corner kick. Third one, Robbie Mertz will take it once again. That one not out of the mixer. A half-hearted effort, put back on goal, didn't get very far. Having another go. Couple of deflections in the air and then a collision will mean the visitors will safely have possession. At least safely as far as danger on their goal is concerned. Dikwa taking some damage there.
Good delivery by Mertz. His deeper balls have caused some problems for this Rhode Island team. Particularly effectively cleared again that time. Got away with it in the end.
Fans, we've officially launched our limited edition White Hat Scar.
Biasi once again slowly getting up.
With us as the Riverhounds take on
It'll be Jackson Lee who puts this one back into play. Lee getting the looks in these Jägermeister Cup matches. Officially the guy who will assume that responsibility until further notice. In the goalkeeping room, of course, with Coque Vegas, who has been starting the league matches. And then Will Meyer, who is also in that goalkeeping room. Carl Spratt, the goalkeeping coach, has done a great job to create an environment that's challenging for those three guys.
Well, one of the great things about this cup competition, right? Getting the backup goalkeepers opportunity to start a game. Obviously hard to get them game action unless you have these cup competitions or make a deep run in the US Open Cup, but having these guaranteed 4 games. Great to have for the backups.
An incredibly competitive room, according to Connor Smith, which is what you want. He told me that you don't want Jackson Lee or Will Meyer to accept the roles they have. You want them to be continually testing the starting goalkeeper for that spot.
Yes, and we've seen a lot more teams, I think, the last couple of seasons going with whoever better performing well this season.
I mean, such a interesting dynamic you have for goalkeepers as far as any position group is concerned, because there is no scenario where you play 2 goalkeepers in a match unless you're swapping them out for one reason or another. Usually that's not a good reason.
This is penalty kicks and Jordan Farr.
Sliding deflection means another corner kick for the Hounds, this time from the left flag.
Fans, we got another.
Pittsburgh taking control of this half a little bit over the last 5 minutes. Still seeking their first shot on target, though.
Nice Cohen Markets corner kick will once again be taken by Robbie Mertz. The vantage point does not make a difference. It'll be the one operating from the dead ball.
5th corner of this first half for the home team.
Mertz drives it in, punched out by Lee.
Stood his ground, and the Pittsburgh player jumped over him.
Junior at 2. Still down on the ground after going up for that ball. And let's look at what just took place.
Ah, Quizera did maybe take that back a little bit. Quizera did take a peek and obstructed the run.
So it will be a free kick, no booking. Junior Etu. Not afraid to go for it, though. Trying to keep the play alive. Turns 31 tomorrow.
was the old Harry Kane. Harry Kane used to win so many free kicks when he was with Spurs doing that. And he would always claim the guy was jumping over and into him, but he would advantage.
Merch to take it, hits the wall. Second effort, headed towards, or at least closer to goal, but not on target for Jacqueson.
Into the wall, which I'm questioning if it was 10 yards back. I've seen this a bit too much at the pro level that the referee's counting short 10s. Especially when you're around the penalty box and you know exactly how far 10 yards is. Looked like the wall was far enough back there, but John Matto's the man with the best view of us all. I'll say perhaps sometimes it's the camera angle that's a little deceiving, Mark. We've got so many different camera angles at USL games. Sometimes some are a little lower than others, some a little higher. Give our referees the benefit of the doubt.
I certainly don't get enough of it as far as, not even just in soccer, but in sports in general. A hard gig, you would know.
Yeah, a little UPSL action tomorrow. Hopefully the boys behave themselves there. Oops. Good job there by Jackson Lee keeping that one in.
Last chance trying to be redirected on goal by Bertrand Jacqueson.
Haven't mentioned his name much tonight, a player to watch, but not been much to watch for with him so far.
Probably saying he's getting close, just needs that goal to set him off. Was so productive in his brief stint with the Riverhounds last season. Hit the post in that game against Rhode Island last week, and probably happy with how he's played on both sides of the ball, but Walty, not something to be pleased about here. He'll get a yellow card, his second in the Jägermeister Cup.
Wasn't very happy about it.
Yellow card against the Riverhounds, number 42, Jackson Walty.
Certainly got to the ball first, Walty. I think he certainly could perhaps feel a little hard done by the follow through. A little reckless, perhaps. A little harsh from John Matto there. I think it's a simple foul could have perhaps been enough. As captain Danny Griffin in support of his teammate, as he should be.
Once the decision is made, it's been made. So with a bit of a hobble, Amos Shapiro Thompson is back up on his feet.
I think it's just perhaps the height of the follow through from Walty.
So now he'll receive some instructions from Bob Lilly. Jackson Lee will get things going again. A little too much contact there from Dequa.
I think a little bit of frustration, as so many forwards have had against this Pittsburgh defensive unit, no matter who's playing back there. 10 total touches between these two teams in each opposition's box so far. It's been mostly a game played in the middle of the park. Some bright spots early, but it's dulled down a little bit here in the last 15.
Start in the first 15 or so minutes in the last game, weren't able to take advantage of it. This go around, an opportunity falls to them and they make the most of it. As far as the flow of the game is concerned, match following a pretty similar pattern to the last 90 minutes these two teams competed. Player knocked over for a free kick, and
Dequa having a word. Since John Matto's getting a little frustrated with the way these last 5 minutes have gone. Obviously, neither of these two teams are afraid to throw the weight around when needed to.
Coming. Don't miss your chance to be a part of history with the Pittsburgh Riveters SC. Season tickets for the 2025 USLW League are now on sale. Experience all the action at Highmark Stadium, so grab your tickets now at riveterssc.com/tickets.
Nice 2-0 win last night over Flower City. W League into the swing now. You mentioned this game getting physical. 7 yellow cards in the last week's meeting between these two sides. Walty was in the book for that one as well. 4 for Pittsburgh, 3 for Rhode Island. Another stoppage.
Well, this always seems to be a pattern when you get teams playing each other frequently. You gotta get tired of each other.
Well, they are. Now, Jackson Walty's making the point that you gave the yellow card to my center midfielder earlier on over there for not retreating, and now he wants another one there, and that would have been the second one for Walty. Connor Smith with a wry smile towards the 4th official. It was slightly different. I think Walty was actually walking away. Some other matches coming down to the wire. Mark, last 15 minutes. Loudon with a 2-1 lead over Louisville. Greenville with a 1-0 lead on the road at Charleston. That would be a big upset for the League One boys. They're struggling for form at the moment in their division, in their league. The other one's all early. 7 o'clock starts like this one.
Busy day, chock full of Jägermeister Cup matches, so we appreciate you choosing to watch this one. Out of the whole litter you could be watching. Williams able to tap that one to his left, and now Etu look to bring it forward, and although advantage was going to be played for a moment, they're going to blow it dead. A yellow card will be issued. That's now 3 yellow cards in the first half of action.
I think that one was for Clay Holstead. It was aimed in his direction for a late challenge. Yellow cards now starting to rack up.
Holstead, Walty, and Rodriguez all in the books so far.
We have another yellow card against Rhode Island, number 12, Clay Holstead.
1-0 start for Rhode Island. Connor Smith saying this match is another game, not looking to rest players, so I have no reason to rotate. Different teams have different approaches to this competition, and got 2 pretty stellar lineups out here at Highmark Stadium for these 2 sides, so similar ideas of how to attack this game for each of these units.
And another foul. Yeah, I like the fact that we're playing these games on weekends rather than midweek. It's a chance for coaches to play close to their full lineups and make a couple of tweaks here and there. Maxi Rodriguez now pleading his case with John Matto. This game is completely ground to a halt over the last 5 to 10 with fouls and cards. It's not been pretty.
Frees himself of a double team and not fully out of danger yet. Now headed away. Rhode Island will reset, or at least attempt to. One player down for the visitors. Play will go on.
I think it's Holstead. He got clattered. And Augie Williams.
Bending service. Caught in stride by Randolph.
Stop play here. You can see both sets of players getting a little frustrated at the flow of this game. As we limp towards halftime.
Certainly has not been conducive to any sort of flow.
I mean, I think it's about what we expected from these 2 defensive-minded teams.
Rio Hope Gund was slow to get up.
Ooh, that was nasty. Not sure how they got away with that one. Augie Williams certainly caught Hope Gund halfway up his shin.
I'm sure that opinion being shared with Cano Smith as we speak, whether it was already shared earlier or just shared at that moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time.
You can read it there. 3 more tacked on before we go to break. Exciting start to this match has come to a chopping halt.
That's a good word for it. So you and I remember our League One days, teams would play each other 4 times in a season. By the 3rd time, things just ground to a halt like it can here, especially 2 teams playing each other 2nd time in a week. And you asked both coaches, Mark, midweek about the extra prep you would have got, because you didn't have to watch much video because you just played them the week before.
Right.
Interesting, Cano Smith said that he split the video session into 2. Went over 2 days, 1 day focusing on when they had the ball. Biasi, Dequa, I'm not going to have a yellow card for Dequa.
So the cards keep on coming. Albert Dequa with his first booking in either USL competition.
There's certainly some deep dive sessions from Cano Smith. Second one focusing on when they had the ball.
Yellow card against Rhode.
It seemed when both teams came out
Number 10, Albert
bright
Dequa.
starts in this one in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but it's certainly deteriorated, I use that word, since then, to a bit of a slugfest.
Well, if you ever talk to a hockey player or a basketball player, imagine a baseball player to a similar extent, when you get into the playoff season, you're playing a team in a series, you get pretty sick of the players you're up against, and their mere presence will start to irk you after hours upon hours of playing at a high intense level against each other, where you're at each other's throats the entire time.
Interesting to see how both of these coaches approach this second half. Do they make some immediate changes just to try and change things up a little bit? Charles all on the bench tonight for Pittsburgh, which is a shame because he played really well off the bench last week. See, we will have penalties at the end of this one if we finish tied. No extra time though, straight to PKs. So no draws in the Jägermeister Cup play. This one bounces off the plexiglass. That man's been busy this first half, John Matto. Earning his money.
Yeah, gonna have to make sure that whistle's still working once you get into the second half.
24 total fouls so far in this first half.
Jeez.
4 yellow cards.
So Jackson Lee is going to come all the way up, trying to make this the last action of the game. We'll play it short. Quizera headed back towards goal, but ultimately Randolph claims it, and there's the whistle for the end of the first 45. It was contentious, a bit violent, and a little bit start and go here, but it's Rhode Island, thanks to that man right there, who lead 1-0 over the Riverhounds on the road.
Yeah, solid finish from Quizera. Played back heel from Dequa, and that is the difference over the break in this one.
Halftime content coming your way on ESPN Plus. We'll see you on the other end of this break to talk about some news around the league.
We're not the universe's window company. We're not the world's window company. And we're not the nation's window company. Thermo Twin is Pittsburgh's window company.
Pittsburgh is our home. Check in with Thermo Twin. We are employee owned. Check in with Thermo Twin.
Check in now and get 25% off and 36-month interest-free financing.
Check in with Thermo Twin.
But the captain comes through. Kurtz on the follow-up, buries it.
At AHN, Good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
There's so much to pay attention to while you're driving on the road. If you see flashing lights behind you and you're involved in a traffic stop, remember these tips to help keep you safe. Carefully choose a spot along the road to pull over and put your flashers on. Roll down your window as the officer approaches your vehicle. Wait for commands from the officer and don't reach for anything in your vehicle. Being involved in a traffic stop might not mean that you violated traffic rules. You could have a broken taillight or be getting a flat tire. And be polite. Courtesy goes a long way.
Halftime is presented by 84 Lumber. It's 1-0 in favor of the road side, Rhode Island. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here, but we're going to step aside. These two teams have some great venues, and we're going to talk about some of the venues across the landscape in the USL.
This is Centerville Bank Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, just opened in early May with a capacity of more than 10,000. This is the newest gem in the USL Championship, and there are more of these coming pretty soon in both the Championship and League One. Two clubs progressing towards their new homes are Detroit City FC and Sacramento Republic FC. Detroit City has acquired the land it needs close to downtown, while Sacramento has a similar goal in its downtown district known as the Rail Yards. Future plans are in the works for Oakland Roots SC, New Mexico United, and expansion club Buffalo. In League One, AV Alta FC's inaugural season kicked off in a renovation of Lancaster Municipal Stadium. Portland Hearts of Pine upgraded a local icon, Fitzpatrick Stadium, for its debut. Greenville Triumph SC broke ground on its new home with help from co-owner, the great Ronaldinho. And defending League One champion Union Omaha is planning its next home. 2026 expansion includes Fort Lauderdale United FC Stadium Complex, already a USL hotspot, and expansion stadiums are nearing the finish line in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Eugene, Oregon, Corpus Christi, Texas, and Boise, Idaho.
It was one of the obvious ones in terms of giving him an opportunity at the pro level.
Number 70, Pablo Lindswine.
He had a lot of good foundation in his play.
Signed an academy deal last year in May. Third from the Riverhounds Academy to jump into the first team, 18 years old now.
My name is Pablo Lindswine. I play for the 2006-2007 Riverhounds ECNL team and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds first team. Kevin Kerr always pushed me to do my best in training, always being on top of me about just everything, and he always pushed me at the first team. I started training with the first team my freshman year, and that was a big eye-opener for me because I realized, like, wow, like this is what the professional level is like.
Yeah, it's always a big decision to give somebody their debut, especially an academy player. We felt that he had earned it. It was a reward for the work that he'd put in.
What a start to the season at Louisville City League!
Joe Brito! Oh, it's magnificent! What a finish!
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off Annie. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy?
New termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
3 ice-cold Jägermeister shots, please. Those look warm.
Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
We welcome you back here on ESPN Plus. Let's take a look at some of the news and the notes around the USL. Got some big additions, some call-ups for national teams, and also some adds to current teams, including League Two Defender of the Year, Toby Sims. We're just waiting for him to be available, and now he joins the Greenville Triumph there. Meanwhile, we've also got some great partnerships being developed between the USL, United Black Players, and Bellevue University. So all around the USL growing in many different directions, whether it be the roster, whether it be in impact, or whether it be in the national game. Of course, shout out to everybody who is a part of that in every single capacity across the United Soccer League. Now, as far as the Jägermeister Cup is concerned, it's a busy, busy day in the competition, Ross. First off, here's some of the early scores, and boy, some drama going on all across the board here.
Yeah, Hartford now 2-0 in their division. Westchester 0-2. They're probably done. Portland with a big upset win against Detroit City. In Greenville, Toby Sims played a half in that game off the benches. Greenville held on despite a barrage from the Battery in the second half.
Now potentially getting away with one in South Carolina. A little bit of a rivalry match there between the Battery and the Triumph. Meanwhile, Loudon getting one over Blue City as it stands right now. They've been struggling to get that result this season in several fixtures between those two sides. And here's some of the other games that are taking place. Chattanooga taking a lead against Forward Madison. Meanwhile, Lexington on the road against Charlotte also have the lead. And then look at Richmond Kickers, North Carolina FC. It's almost like League One all over again over there, Ross.
Yeah, Matt Bentley with the goal for Chattanooga Rebels. He's off to a great start this season. A little Sawgrass Expressway battle there between Miami and SC Naples. Two teams off to good starts this season.
A lot of good stuff across the board. Those championship versus League One matches are always very exciting in this competition. We're going to step aside for another break. We'll be back after here on the 84 Lumber Halftime Show. 1-0 your scoreline.
Living in your dream home but your deck has become a nightmare? Quaker State Construction can make your deck look better than new with an extreme deck makeover and save you money. It's not too early to create the deck of your dreams with our design team, materials, and hassle-free installation. Get on our schedule now so you're able to enjoy your deck this season. Call Quaker State Construction at 800-262-DECK or go to QuakerStateConstruction.com.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. It is the tail end of the halftime show here, presented by 84 Lumber. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you on ESPN Plus. Rhode Island up 1-0 against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at Highmark Stadium. In case you didn't catch the first 45 minutes or you need a little bit of a recap, we have got you covered. Here are your first 45 highlights. Second 45, it's now been, I do the math in my head quickly, 135 minutes straight that these two teams have played each other without any other competitive matches in between. Having played 90 last week and now one half through this Jägermeister Cup bout. Got the solo of Freebird riffing in the background at Highmark Stadium.
Some quality songs tonight here from the DJ. Goes to them.
And we're back and swinging here. The train sending us off, yeah.
See if Pittsburgh can get the train, goal train going that way. Struggle in the first half offensively in those two moments from Mertz. Well, we didn't see on the highlight, had a quite decent chance right before that. Burton Jackerson's been pretty much invisible in this game so far. They need to get him involved.
Bob Lilly telling us that he wants his side to hit 15 to 20 shots a game, and they've seldom hit 10 this year. They're on pace to hit 10 in this game. But he's mentioned partially personnel availability has been an issue on the offensive side. Obviously, Jacquesin missing for the early stages of this year. But also, he said that the decision-making in that final third just has to be better. Williams, can he make a good decision here? Williams takes the shot, and falling onto it is Jackson Lee.
He had support on the right, but for some reason, Williams cut back to his left and left himself with a lot of work to do with a ton of yellow jerseys between him and the goal. Team shot in the end.
Contact away from the ball, as the Hounds will retain possession. We're tuning into the Jägermeister Cup bout between the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Rhode Island FC. There are, if I'm counting correctly here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games? Yeah, 8 games concurrently playing at the same time, with 2 matches already concluded today. So if you are a neutral that's not a fan of Rhode Island or Pittsburgh and you're choosing this match, we welcome you in. Of the 8 choices, you chose to pick this one.
Yeah, there's a few teams playing in this time slot that could certainly use a win to get things going. Tampa Bay, Lexington, they're up 1-0. Miami just taking the lead against Naples as well.
Teams that would like to start greasing the wheels and chugging along like that train is in the background.
Should add a little wager mark on how many, what do you call it? Not carriages, that's not the right word.
I think just call them cars, but.
Cars, that, yes.
I think if you called them carriages, the point would get across.
Sorry. I didn't know what I was trying to say.
That's all communication is for anyway. Now the question will be is, will one of these teams be able to connect something and pick up some steam in this match? Of course, Rhode Island, less pressure to do so.
Tracking back there by Sean Zubert. Deeper was almost off to the races. No foul there. Fuson goes down. We haven't called his name much tonight either. Forward Madison man. Walty, one of the 4 players with the yellow card in the first half. The only one for the Riverhounds. Halstead, Rodriguez, and Dikwa in the book already for the visitors.
Merch tripped up for a free kick.
Never saw the story of the game so far. Play looks like they're going to make a nice little break and they get fouled.
Some more contact, looking like we're going to pick up where we left off, Ross, which is stop and go, stop and go. A lot of red light, green light taking place.
Yeah, it's been a little frustrating because those that know the amount of talent on this pitch that's capable of producing offensive threats. Very frustrated by the way this game has gone. Dequan Williams, proven goal scorers at this level, just haven't been provided the service tonight. Credit to the defenses though. Sort of limited the chances for both sides.
These are 2 units that are pretty stout on that end of the ball. As the saying goes, defense wins championships, but if you want to collect points in league play and in cup competitions, you got to score some goals too, and that's something both of these sides are still trying to sift through and figure out. And like you said, they both certainly have the firepower to do it. It's just about putting it all together.
Yeah, it's like both of these teams sort of canceling each other out. They played very different formations. Obviously, 4 at the back plus the 2 defensive midfielders for Rhode Island, the 5 at the back when they need to for Pittsburgh. Both very defensive oriented.
Etu. Moves it back to Vactor. Play quickly thrown back in for Williams. Popped up and out harmlessly. 2025 Riverhounds season tickets are now on sale. Don't miss your chance to be part of all the action all season long. Tickets are selling fast, so visit riverhounds.com/tickets for more information. Rolling ball up ahead, finds Williams, and he'll chip it back in centrally. Mertz, lovely interplay. Williams chesting it down, and then it's cleared away. He couldn't quite reel it in, Augie Williams.
I mean, a good angle there to see the offside decision or non-decision. The decision was not to put the flag up. It was close. Chance for Augie Williams to stretch his legs and get going, and just didn't get it knocked far ahead of him enough. Rhode Island players got back in time to put him off.
Big opportunity. Will result in testing Jackson Lee. Pittsburgh looking for their first points in this competition. Rhode Island in the driver's seat, looking to tie up with Hartford Athletic at the top of Group 4 with 6 points. Right now, that is how the standings would break out. 2 exciting games in this group earlier, with Hartford Athletic coming back down from a goal twice and then taking the lead late on the road against Westchester.
You mentioned Pittsburgh will play Westchester at home and then at Portland Hearts of Pine, where Detroit fell. Those games are both about a month apart. Saturday, June 28th, and then Friday, July 25th, before the knockout stages begin.
One team from each group guaranteed a spot, and then 2 wild card teams will make it through, as this one popped over top.
Offside anyway. Meanwhile, Rhode Island mentioned only the 1 win in the book, perhaps the second tonight. They will host Portland Hearts of Pine on Friday, June 27th, and then host Hartford. That one could be for the top of the table.
That could be a decider. Last game of the group stage.
So it's going to be a fun round, that last round, and hopefully there's plenty to play for in all 6 groups.
Lee.
Not second time. All he had to do was get that one away, though, in the end. There wasn't a fine clearance, but did what was necessary. As we've seen a little bit of action here in the final third to open the second half.
As the game goes on, Pittsburgh will be more pressed to ask questions of this Rhode Island side. That's a jostle. Etu makes Williams run for it. And another deep throw in. Walty will make his way over. Worth reminding, several players on a yellow card in this game. Holstead, Rodriguez, Dequa, Walty, all in the books. And speaking of yellow cards, doesn't look like we're going to get one here, but we will get a foul whistle. Dequa going down once again. The USL kicks off the month of June on ESPN2 with a battle of Eastern Conference powerhouses. Last season's Players' Shield winner Louisville City FC take on the 2024 Eastern Conference title holders, Rhode Island FC. On Wednesday, June 11th, at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one on the Deuce. Louisville losers earlier tonight in the Jägermeister Cup. Loudon now 2-0 in Group 5. Louisville 1-1. Beat Richmond handily 4-1 in their first game. Lexington, they're winning tonight, so Louisville in third place with 2 games to go in Group 5. Bit of a shock, perhaps. Loudon obviously having a great season, though.
Yeah. Abdelatif Abukora scoring in that game. He's having a magical tear in 2025. Free kick impending here now for the Hounds. Both of these sides with the opportunity to focus more on themselves this week, given the fact that they're already familiar with their opponent. That's the silver lining Cano Smith found in this repeat fixture, one weekend after the other.
Let's see if we get a good delivery here from Mertz. He's one ahead, about 10 yards out, just inside the penalty spot. There it is. It's a good one. Well defended, though.
Fuson does well to block that second effort. It's a big Rhode Island side, so on set pieces, it's either hard to defend them or hard to break through them. But there were those early set piece chances for Pittsburgh in this game that had some promise. Rodriguez. Over 5,000 people in the stands at Highmark Stadium here this evening. Always a lovely way to spend your Saturday evening in Pittsburgh. Get a lovely view of the skyline and also get a lovely view of some footy as well.
Dying for something to cheer for. So we're going to have our first change coming up here for the visitors.
Rodriguez. Too much juice on that one. It'll bounce across the byline. So nearly 2/3 of the way through this fixture. A goal from Jojea Quizera, assisted by the back heel from Chico, otherwise known as Albert Diqua. Has separated the home side, excuse me, separated the away side from the home side. And here's our first change. Zachary Harivo, who started in the last match, will step in for Maxi Rodriguez. That's one of the yellow card offenders in this game, making his way to the bench. He got his early on when he got in the way of a restart. Talk about a great guy you can bring in, though. Harivo, a man with over 120 USL Championship appearances. Really looking to see this one across the finish line for Rhode Island. Looking for their first victory against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Matter of fact, it would just be the second time they've gotten any points from a match against Pittsburgh, this being the first time they've ever scored against them.
Yeah, Harivo normally more of a defensive-minded midfielder, but perhaps be asked to play that Maxi Rodriguez role here. He can do it. He's played a couple of times there in the center midfield spot this season. So Clay Olstead might push a little further forward as well. We'll have to get that second goal here on the road, especially with the way Pittsburgh are struggling in the final third. Chance here now, though.
Took a little bit too long to distribute. The jerseys started closing in. The Hounds will maintain the ball, though, and will look to more so matriculate down the field than push the tempo. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Pittsburgh enjoying possession, but not able to get it very far forward. I'll give it a go here. And ultimately, progress acquired. Mertz enters the 18, dishes it out wide. Etu, right by the corner flag. Walty escorted wide. Mertz winds around. Plays it into the center. An effort on goal doesn't go very far. It's still in the mix. And after all that effort, it amounts to nothing for the home team except for a yellow card. And once again, it's Albert Dequa going down against his former side, excuse me.
And he's found himself in the wars tonight. A clumsy first touch from Guillaume Vactor. Results in the yellow card for him.
Let's look at it on the Narcissi Winery replay. Breaking out the card once again is John Motto. It's our 5th booking, I believe, in the game. Yep. He said it was 7 in the last game, and well, we're well on pace for that right now. Arivo plays it to the corner, bending ball inside, dished away. Some additional pressure. And an opportunity for Rhode Island to win the ball back. They won't get it, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for Albert Dequa, the ball kind of fell behind him and he wasn't paying attention. That was enough to allow Pittsburgh to get the ball away. Not far, though. Let's see if Rhode Island can keep the pressure on here. That's not the way to do it.
Williams couldn't reel it in, and it'll fall back to him, though. He'll play it wide. Perrin Barnes cutting inside. Perrin Barnes threads the needle. Could not combine with Jacquesin. We're going to get 2 changes for Bob Lilly's side. Jacquesin will find his way to the bench, as well as Junior Etu. And coming in, Bradley Sample and Jorge Garcia.
Yeah, disappointing night for the Frenchman. Jacquesin just not a factor at all in this contest. And only 19 touches, nearly 3/4 of a game.
Holstead making a run down the right. He'll get the ball. Good touch there from Biasi.
Interesting to see where Jorge Garcia goes. Looks like he's going to go to this left side. Certainly more of a central player.
Harivo to Holstead. He'll return the favor. And that return combination unsuccessful for Harivo. Pressure making it a bit hairy, though, for the Riverhounds. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Up over 30 now in the foul department.
Just been a bruiser of a match here, Ross.
Yeah, sort of like just two middleweights slugging it out there. An offside flag goes up.
So, although some fans don't spot it, it will come back. Boos raining on the left side of the pitch at Highmark Stadium for those not keen on the AR on the far side of the pitch.
It was the right decision, yeah. Augie Williams, a yard or two over the offside line.
So we stay at 1-0 here. Quizera, the lone goal scorer. And we'll get another free kick here. Cano Smith, indignant, despite the fact that at least the whistle will go in their direction, but that's Dequa again. Now, it's worth noting as an official, most fans are familiar with you getting a yellow card if you are a repeated offender. But there are also situations where a ref can give a yellow card if there is repeat offenses to the same player. Albert Dequa has gone down probably at least 5 times in this game off the top of my head.
You're right, Mark. That was the 6th time Dequa's gone down. Fuson's been fouled 5 times, so those two have seen the majority of the contact.
So from what we're hearing, it was an elbow that he took. So Cano Smith thinking a booking should have been made there. That ball chipped up. It was a lovely idea, but the execution just lacking.
You see Zach Harivo pushing almost far enough forward now to be a second striker. Oh, sorry, Fuson, excuse me. Alongside Dequa.
That's a lovely little exchange. Williams goes down. Ooh. And they're going to call a foul, but they're going to call it outside the penalty area.
Interesting. Now, if the foul, this is an interesting one. We'll take a look here at the replay. That's the initial pull. Okay, yeah.
Boy, is that tight, though.
Now, if he continued after the contact, after he crossed the line, this is the right call there by John Mato. Either way, a dangerous spot here.
That's always such an interesting decision in the game.
You can see he's getting away with it, too. Garcia moved the ball about a foot towards the goal. I'm sure John Mato's going to make him move it back. He's still moving it.
Garcia behind the dead ball. It's been Mertz up to this point in these situations. Garcia does not touch the wall, so it'll be a goal kick. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Two more changes readying for Cano Smith, and they'll actually take place right here. So Karifa Yao will step in for Amos Shapiro-Thompson, and then Joe Brito will sub in for Noah Fuson. Those both seem like conservative changes for Smith to slow this game down a little bit.
Yeah, get some fresh legs on. Put some pressure on whoever has the ball for Pittsburgh. Zhao moving some things around it. Joe Brito.
Earning the lead in the 19th minute, Jojea Quizera looking to mirror the result of last game. It was a 1-0 win on the road for Pittsburgh. Rhode Island looking to make it a 1-0 win on the road just 1 week later. Promising exchanges here. Ripping shot towards goal. Jackson Lee gets the initial block and quickly collects the spillage.
Joe Brito can play either side of the midfield. Looks like he may be lining up on the right-hand side for the time being. Excuse me, left-hand side, Joe Brito there. And another foul. It's just, you can see what the Rhode Island coaching staff is trying to say. It's been a frustrating night for them, for the officials, for the spectators. Fourth official is probably saying, listen, I'm not the man in the middle. He saw what happened. Did referee Mato? It's his decision whether he brandishes a card or not.
Fans, next Saturday, June 7th, the Riverhounds welcome Detroit City for our annual Whiteout Day. Being one of the first 750 people through the gate, they get a Highmark Stadium 3D.
The end result of this play, though, will be a free kick for Rhode Island. Quickly taken, bending in, caught by Randolph.
We're trying to catch Joe Randolph off guard a little bit there. There was plenty of Rhode Island players in the vicinity. Had he not been awake, but Randolph was ready for that quickly taken free kick, and now here come Pittsburgh the other way.
He hasn't had much to do here in the second half, so not a bad idea to see if he was still on his toes.
Yeah, like the little quickly taken free kick. Most teams these days used to having the time to set up. Didn't have the time there. They were almost caught napping if Randolph hadn't been aware.
Another service inside, parried away. Walty trying to redirect it to Barnes. Pittsburgh been applying the pressure further forward, but they're not breaking through still. When you look at the expected goals in this game, it's 0.57 in favor of Pittsburgh to Rhode Island's 0.25. Respectfully, these are two sides that do not concede goals easily. Mertz taking some contact, feeds it in the middle, and it bounces wide. It took a glance, and a corner kick incoming, a Cohen Markets corner kick incoming for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Yeah, it's been, as you said, Mark, similar story to last weekend. One team, the visiting team, again tonight taking their first half opportunity.
A change will be made before this corner kick is taken. Vactor is out, and Ilal Osumanu will sub in. If you're splitting hairs here, he has a slightly larger target than Vactor.
It certainly might come down to a set piece like this.
Punched away emphatically by Lee.
We haven't seen much of Osamanu of late. Started 5 of the first 7 championship games, but not even in the squad the last 3.
And the whistle blows there, stopping that one. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new SXM app. I'll switch the point of attack over to the right-hand side. Service nodded away. Some dominoes falling over in the process. Biasi plays it to his left. Ripped back centrally. Return to sender. Biasi once again overshoots everybody. Hopeful ball, headed back across by Williams. And taking a tumble. It'll be a free kick for Rhode Island. Don't miss your chance to be a part of history with the Pittsburgh Riveters SC. Season tickets for the 2025 USLW League are now on sale. Experience all the action at Highmark Stadium. Grab your tickets now at riveterssc.com/tickets.
Looking around the cup, we might have our first penalty kicks off the night. Richmond and North Carolina tied going into the last 10 minutes, as well as Chattanooga and Madison. Miami and Naples now 2-2. That's been a fun one down at FIU.
A South Florida showdown.
Dequa now gets called for the shove.
Rhode Island looking to return the favor that Pittsburgh delivered last weekend.
Frank Nadasi's long leg. Now here he goes on the attack. He's out of position though. Chance for Pittsburgh here if they can get it going.
Williams looks to be offside. And it won't make a difference. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Rio Hope Gund will toss this one in.
And Rhode Island would go to first place in Group 4 if they can hold on here by virtue of goal difference over Hartford Athletic. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, will be rooted to the bottom.
Maltese sending it over to the right-hand side. It's Mertz tapping it. Serves centrally. Ball squeaking out, now rolling towards goal, but not enough velocity to challenge Jackson Lee.
First tiebreaker is goals for. Reason why Westchester are ahead of Pittsburgh. They have 3. It's Pittsburgh 0 at the moment. Pittsburgh with the better goal difference though. Not the first tiebreaker. It's actually the 5th tiebreaker. Acrobatic still here in the last 10 minutes. Every time you'd hit the ground, otherwise you'd have some tired arms. Rhode Island will certainly take their time here as Bob Lilly tries to figure out how he can rescue his team in this competition. With 2 losses, it would pretty much must be good night for Pittsburgh.
Quizera, the goal scorer, sends that one in, chested down. Holstead tries to fire it. We'll have another go. Saved by Randolph. Ultimately not too difficult to handle in the end.
A couple of chances there for Halstead. He can crack him from distance.
Wolty along the touchline. Took some contact from Halstead. It's a quick reset. Bring that one upward. I believe that's Karifa Yao who provided the clearance. Yao nodding that one away. Now to the left-hand side, Garcia. Taps it for Biasi. Luke Biasi. With the floated ball, the one-timer played back in centrally. Lee only got a piece of it. It spilled to a really teasing spot inside the penalty area, but there is no Pittsburgh jersey around to take advantage.
Well, you can see Bob Lilly's hand gestures was saying exactly the same thing, Mark. Get players into the danger area. It was unlucky here for Pittsburgh. It was a good hand. It was just the one hand, as you mentioned, Mark, but it was a good one by Lee, because you hear all the Pittsburgh players at the back post, nobody at the front post to clean up.
So our goal scorer in this match, Jojea Quizera, will sub out, and in comes Taimu Okioshi. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. You can also go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings.
You obviously go to both websites as well for up to the minute standings, live standings, as we're all used to these days, thanks to technology. Tells us that Rhode Island and Hartford with 6 points apiece. Westchester, Pittsburgh, no points if things hold here in Portland and Detroit. Still in.
They've been hanging on to that advantage since then. Hasn't been a ton of promise offensively in the second half for the visitors.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate, just the same old story for Pittsburgh. Things looked up. 16 shots for Pittsburgh.
And that one stings the palm of Jacob Randolph. And a corner kick is incoming.
Joe Burrito with a lovely little move. Quick burst. That's a good save in the end by Randolph. I'm not sure if it was going to sneak inside his post, but he didn't know. Had to make sure to palm that one around.
A lot of big bodies on this Rhode Island side. Can one of them knock home an insurance goal?
I mentioned 16 shots for Pittsburgh, 0.94 XG, and 4 shots on target. Just really haven't had enough quality chances. Obviously, the Mertz header in the first half, the real big miss.
Dequa plays it to Halstead. He rolls it forward, and it's ultimately too wide for Brito. This Rhode Island side in that building process here early in the season, as every team is, and Conor Smith been telling his guys, much like last season, we're so close, and they're a big fan of the effort in the matches from the guys. And they're not getting run off the pitch in any game they're playing in. It's just taking a while to click tactically. Conor Smith saying that defensively we're in a good place, only 10 goals conceded, but only 10 goals scored is not acceptable, and they have to find an uptick in that regard. It's the same thing that happened last year too, at a very slow start to the 2024 season, and then look where it ended. So they're certainly not panicking, but at the same time, they're also trying to work out why this has happened now 2 years in a row.
Yeah, the problem is when you allow the first goal and you've got to be playing from behind, you don't have the kind of creativity and danger in that final third. It can be tough to come back from. Rhode Island with only 9 touches in the opposition box tonight. They haven't done a ton either in the final third, to be fair.
Williams sends it in, falls down to Garcia. Walty trying to keep the play alive.
Yeah, the ball just wouldn't quite fall to him to take a shot. Was looking for the return pass. Didn't find him though.
Biasi taps it to Randolph. Marching ball, headed away by Nodarse.
Pittsburgh now finally starting to push some bodies forward. See if they can keep some quality possession here in the final third, but they've got to be careful. They don't get caught on the transition. I mentioned at this point, it's basically a knockout game for them. If they lose this game, the chances of qualification are basically over. So no harm in you lose 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, he can kind of throw caution to the wind here. Walty launches it in, headed to the top. Barnes lets it fly, and Jackson Lee is at eye level.
It was going to take something special to beat Jackson Lee from there.
Lee trying to hang on to his first clean sheet of the season. Had 3 of them last year in his first professional season. Dequa let one fly, and that bends towards the Steel Army. Look out.
We looked up and saw Randolph backpedaling furiously. He was just trying to get it on target and catch him off his line. Didn't quite work out.
So 4 more minutes will be added on here at Highmark Stadium. 4 minutes for Pittsburgh to try and find an answer and at least get a draw out of this one. Meanwhile, for Rhode Island, 4 more minutes to hang tight. Williams, nothing there except for a corner kick. If Pittsburgh find an equalizer, we would go to penalties for an extra point on the line. Robbie Mertz will take this Cohen Markets corner kick. The stands shaking here at Highmark Stadium, trying to pump some energy into this home side. Over the heads of everybody. It looked like it took a couple glances before rolling across the touchline. It will be Riverhounds' ball. Barnes leaves it for Walty. Was not kept in play. Riverhounds throw. Sumanu on the ball now. Biasi rolls it to Mertz. Robbie Mertz cutting inside, sending a searching ball. It's chested down. Some pleas for a handball will not be found, but Rhode Island deal with it one way or another.
It was a dangerous ball, but it almost had too much pace and was right at the Pittsburgh player. The only thing he could really do was chest it down. I think was going to need a ice bath after this one.
Yeah, he's going to lay down in his bed tonight, and tomorrow morning he's going to wake up, and it's going to be really hard to lift yourself.
He's certainly not been made particularly welcome back to Pittsburgh by the Riverhounds players tonight. Been a frustrating evening for all those in hoops and all the fans in the stands. Scoring troubles continue. Watch out. Assistant referee almost took a high boot.
Just the second time that Deke was played here at Highmark Stadium for Rhode Island. Garcia just lofting this one in the middle of the pitch, hoping that a teammate would bring it down. 1 more minute to go. Perfect opportunity to grind away more of this time. Jojea Quizera on the back heel of Albert Dikwa, scoring the goal in the 19th minute. That is the lone goal in this matchup. And it's currently serving as what'll get Rhode Island 3 points in the Jägermeister Cup for the second time. This would be potentially the last foray forward for Pittsburgh. If they can even get it that far. Dikwa sends Holstead running. He may take this to the corner.
He half thought about crossing it. He had some players open in the middle, but that's going to be it.
So after losing 1-0 at home last week against Pittsburgh, Rhode Island dish it back to the Hounds at Highmark Stadium. 3 points in the Jägermeister Cup pushes Rhode Island up to the top of Group 4. 2 games in the Jägermeister Cup, 2 wins for Cano Smith's side. Let's take a look at tonight's smooth save of the game, presented by Smoothie King. Rule the day. Came in late in the match. Jacob Randolph just stinging that one wide.
We'll see from this angle where would it go? Oh yeah, it may have curled inside, or at least hit the inside of the post by Brito. It's definitely a save deserving of save of the game. And there is our player of the match, Robbie Mertz. 3 shots. That ties for the team lead. Had a great chance in the first half. 4 chances created to lead all players on his team as well. The next best was 1. He won all 4 of his duels. Sorry, all 9 of his duels. Had 4 successful dribbles out of 4. Robbie Mertz unlucky to not be on the score sheet tonight.
He's our man of the match, presented by Modelo. A 1-0 victory for Rhode Island. We're going to step aside briefly. When we come back, we will wrap this one up with a nice little bow on ESPN+.
But the captain comes through. Mertz on the follow-up, buries it.
Hi, this is Anthony with Sell Pittsburgh Now. We're buying as-is houses for cash all across the Pittsburgh area. We make it quick and easy to sell your unwanted house. We buy houses as is with no repairs. Whether it needs a ton of work or is in good shape, we buy them all and pay cash fast whenever you need it. You don't need to fix up a thing or even clean up. And best of all, no fees or closing costs. We're Sell Pittsburgh Now, and we want to make you a fair cash offer. Call 412-385-0000.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. 1-0 your final score here. Rhode Island goes on the road and beats Pittsburgh for the first time ever in club history. 1-0 your final score. Jojea Quizera with the game winner in the 19th minute. So, well, let's take a look at the highs and lows of this match throughout the 90 minutes. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here. Starting off, these two teams came out very familiar with each other, having played just last Saturday. And this little 5-minute window from the 16th minute to the 20th minute, the most exciting moments of this game.
Yeah, Karen Barnes with a superb cross here. Met by Robbie Mertz, just couldn't get his header on target off the upright. Made great contact, but nobody really around him. That would prove costly as 3 minutes later, Rhode Island would just sort of lump it forward. Good work, good hold-up work by Dikwa. Pittsburgh made a mess of the clearance. Back heel by Dikwa, and then the finish by Cruzera was good enough to beat Jacob Randolph, and that was the difference in this one. Just like the first half goal in last week's meeting was as well. Some late chances for Pittsburgh.
In many ways, this game mirrored the game last weekend, with each team fulfilling a role of the home and away team. This go around, of course, swapping those positions. The Riverhounds tried to fight back in the second half, but nothing quite worked through for them. So 1-0 is your scoreline. You see 17 shots from Pittsburgh, 5 on target. Just couldn't get it by Jackson Lee, the Mountaineer getting a clean sheet in Pittsburgh. Had a lot of the possession, especially in the second half, but none of it could break through for Bob Lilly's crew.
Yeah, 24 total shots, but how many of them are quality? Even though this game was played on turf, Mark, it was a muddy affair. Fouls, yellow cards, just how you expect these two defensive-minded teams to play. Pittsburgh in real trouble now, with no points through 2 games in the Jägermeister Cup, potentially done after 2.
So they'll be hosting Westchester next time they play in the Jägermeister Cup. It'll be a home game against Portland for Rhode Island, which ended up being pretty important since Portland were able to get 3 points against Detroit City earlier today. Meanwhile, for the next time these two teams actually play a match in general, both will be in league play. It'll be Detroit City next weekend for Pittsburgh, Miami FC at home for Rhode Island. That is all looking into the future. This is where tonight's show in Pittsburgh will end. For our entire broadcasting crew, for Ross Davenport, my name is Mark Schoen, so we thank you for tuning in. Your final score, Rhode Island 1, Pittsburgh 0. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
even if these two teams played each other last week. Bob Lilly saying it is, we'll hold that thought. Deco with the back heel and a rolling